What's up, everybody? You are tuned in to another episode of the Fleet Flicker Show. We're your hosts, Fred and Dre. No guest on with us this week. It's just the original two, the duo, the tandem here, Fred and Dre. Happy to come at you with some recap action, some predictions, and let's just get after it. Just happy to talk football. It's been a little bit since we last spoke. We've been busy. We're busy guys. Busy guys.
We are quite
What's
busy.
new? What's going on, though, dude? I know you just had a Halloween party this week as well. I had one.
Yeah, we both threw Halloween parties in different states, and they both went pretty well, from my understanding.
Yeah, I think you had a hiccup, though, where someone chopped down your fucking tree.
Yeah, we had a crazy person that came with a real axe and apparently decided to cut down one of our baby trees in the backyard during the middle of the party. So that's pretty insane. That's one thing I wasn't planning for. So, we have some wood that I didn't realize we were going to have, and, a stump that I didn't know we were going to have. It was one of the little trees that was like we have a lot of trees that block the view of our neighbors to keep it kind of private. So now there's just like a hole that neighbors can look through. Granted, it's our cool neighbors, so that's at least better. But yeah, pretty frustrating. I liked that tree,
Yeah, I bet. We have a couple of trees that I'd be pretty pissed if somebody knocked them down. We got a Japanese maple in the front yard that I'd be super pissed. It's one of the reasons we bought the house. It's a beautiful tree. How old does that make me sound? A tree is one of the reasons we bought our house. We've got a crepe myrtle growing in the backyard that is a uterus tree. So it's actually being fertilized by not the placenta from when Jack was born. So it's got that whole memory there.
Never heard of that.
Yeah, we used it for that. Her aunt wanted us to keep little capsules of pieces of placenta or freeze it and eat it. We refused to do either.
Yeah, it's very unique, I guess.
Stick it in the ground. It's supposed to be very good for fertilizing. So that's where it is.
Maybe we'll have to replace that tree with that idea. I don't know.
You'd have to have some placenta, though. So.
Yeah, we don't have any of that right now. So.
Maybe you're next, though. Maybe you're next to have a baby. So.
Yeah, we'll see.
Ours went pretty good, though. Pretty solid. James is upset that he missed out on our party because my costume turned from Mario to what's his? Have you ever seen Love Island?
Wasn't Chris Perry on Love Island?
I don't know. I think it was with Love Is Blind. Love Is Blind. I think he was on.
Different. I watch Love Island. I know that.
There's a guy named Rob Rosh. I think his name is. He's like the snake dude. He's got like a
singer.
Rosh, tattoo of a snake on his arm, and my costume evolved from Mario to that, which is just overalls and no shirt. So.
He looks like Mario, is what I'm getting out of that.
No, I had overalls on, and it was an overwhelming suggestion that I take the shirt off under the overalls. So that's what I did.
That's the only difference between Rob, Rosh, and Mario, but he doesn't look like Mario.
No.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. I'll have to look that guy up later, because I'm baffled right now.
Yeah. It was interesting. It was a fun party, though. Good time. Always fun. Last one in Philly, though, before we move. Anyway, I digress.
I was a witch.
You were rich.
I was a witch. I just had a hat.
It is the season of the witch. Were you like a Agatha All Along style witch, or what kind of witch?
I just had a pointy hat.
Okay.
Well, I was wearing a... oh my gosh, I forget what it was. I was wearing a... Stranger Things? They have that D&D shirt.
Yeah. The Hellfire shirt?
Hellfire Club? I was a Hellfire Club witch. That's what I was.
Nice. Jack would have liked you. Jack loves witches.
Good.
Witch. A witch. Yeah. Loves witches. He loves all things spooky. Witches, ghosts, skeletons. Loves them.
Wow. Okay. I could fuck with Jack. Okay, that's cool. I like it.
He's a cool kid.
I guess so.
Yeah. Let's get into some stuff here. Before we do that, I do have a little bit of trivia for you. Nothing crazy, nothing wild. I'm not going to put a minute on the clock or anything because it's not that serious. But former Seahawks running back Marshawn Lynch was known to have some pretty crazy rituals. What was his pre-game ritual that he would have before every single game?
Are you talking about eating Skittles?
No.
Or is that too mainstream? No.
It is not eating Skittles.
Isn't he is he the one that took like a shot or something, a couple shots or something like that before game?
So he did take a shot. Do you know what that shot was of?
Henny, maybe? I'm not sure.
Henny.
It was Henny.
He took a shot of Henny before every game.
Dude, I know my stuff, see?
You know your stuff. Yeah, it's a shot of Henny before every game. I don't know. That doesn't sound fun to me. But then again, I did have 2 foot-long conies from Sonic before a football game in high school. So
that's crazy. That sounds crazy. I think I'd rather take a shot.
To each their own, right? Yeah, let's get into the games. Starting off with Thursday Night Football, New York Jets taking on the Houston Texans. Jets took this game 21-13. The Jets showed more life than the crowd at a Halloween party when the DJ plays the Macarena. They, 4 fumbles and a score that looks like a bad high school math test for me. Just you want to get it done with for the Texans. So Jets pulled this one out, though. Rodgers looked like vintage Rodgers in the second half at least, and they pulled it out. So give me a little bit of take on this one.
Yeah, I picked the Texans because the Jets had just lost to the Patriots and looked like crap. You apparently knew that the Jets were going to win this, though. I was very confused in the game. The Texans, they don't look all that good right now. They're 6-3, but this was a bad game, especially for C.J. Stroud. He had less than half of his attempts completed. Tank Dell's back, and he had a good game, but
there's no Nico Collins right now for them. Stephon Diggs is done, so their only receiver is Tank Dell. Granted, he had 140, 150 yards, so he still performed, but they just don't have that spark, that 1-2 punch that they had all last year, and
they didn't trade for anybody.
No.
I wonder. I really want John Mechie to come around, but he hasn't done anything.
I agree. He has so much promise, but we just haven't done anything.
Yeah. For the Jets side, they really impressed me in this one. Aaron Rodgers looked really good, like you said. Devontae Adams looks like he's going to be a really good addition to the team. Garrett Wilson scored.
Garrett fucking Wilson. Did you see that catch that he had?
That was like a vintage. We'll be watching that catch in 10 years probably still.
That's going to be on really, those catch of the decade crazy. type things.
Yeah.
That was phenomenal. There were a few good catches this week, and we'll get into some of the catches, some of the good plays this week. But yeah, this was a rough one for the Houston Texans, and you got to hand it to the Jets for haunting them in this one on a Halloween-backed episode.
Yeah, the Jets did get a much-needed win. They need to basically have a massive win streak to get back into playoff aspirations,
Yeah. But hey, like Josh said, this was going to be their turnaround, right? It's going to be like when the Giants snuck in as a wild card and won the Super Bowl. I almost said the World Series. I don't want to talk about the World Series. I'm on the losing end of that one, so not
on the winning
end about that. Yeah. You're a quasi.
Talk about that.
You're a quasi Dodgers fan. Don't even watch baseball.
That's fair.
No, I like a lot of players in the Dodgers. I like Ohtani. I don't mind Betts, even though he used to be the Boston Red Sox. I don't mind him at all. Don't mind Freddie Freeman, even though he's now going to be in my nightmares as a Yankees fan. But it was a disaster of a series, mostly just for errors on the Yankee side, either fielding, base running, mental errors by the coach. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I actually didn't know Ohtani was even on the Dodgers until a couple weeks ago, I think. So
yeah,
that's how much I watch baseball.
That's how much you watch it. But hey, now you can say your team won the World Series this year, so good for you. Moving on, though, let's talk about football, not baseball. Atlanta and the Cowboys. We all expected what was going to come out in this one. We all knew. All 5 of us picked the right outcome in this game. Atlanta took this one 27-21. The Falcons quarterback Kirk Cousins looked like a kid in a candy store while the Cowboys are over there just trying not to drop their ice cream. Dak's out with a hamstring injury, and the Cowboys offense looked less like a well-oiled machine and more like my grandma's old sewing machine. Lots of thread, but no fabric. It was rough for the Cowboys. Dak's going to be out on the IR. They got Cooper Rush going forward, so it doesn't look good for them. Likely have CeeDee Lamb out as well. So Dallas is a sinking ship.
Yeah, Dallas is screwed. The score was not really indicative of how this game looked. The Falcons dominated, in my opinion. And
it's a fact. It's not an opinion.
2 teams, these 2 teams are separating in the seas right now. The Falcons are on their way towards the playoffs. The Cowboys are on their way to the disaster. Basically, they're sinking They're a sinking ship. We'll
Yeah.
see what Cooper Rush does. He has won a lot of games in the past, but that was with a better Cowboys team. So I'm not
Better
sure.
team, better coached team, if you can say better coached. I mean, they've been well coached in a while,
Yeah.
but the fat man seems to be the worst one.
Yeah. And without CeeDee Lamb, like, what are they even going to do? I mean, they did just trade for, what's his face?
For Jonathan Mingo.
Jonathan
For the
Mingo, yeah.
Panthers. He couldn't even be a starter for the Panthers. What's he going to do there?
I don't know what Jerry Jones is doing. I think he's lost his mind. I think that's what's happening.
Yeah, I think
It's
so.
over.
I don't want to touch on that one anymore. I mean, that one wasn't even close. So let's move to a game that I thought was going to be a lot closer than it was. The Baltimore Ravens absolutely slaughtered the Denver Broncos in Denver, 41-10. 41-10.
Yeah, not great.
Lamar Jackson was serving up touchdowns like it was a Thanksgiving feast out there, and the Broncos were the turkey. Completely roasted. They came in thinking they were the Orange Crush, but left looking like Orange Squeeze. Good luck explaining that score to your friends while you're drowning your sorrows at the bar. Bo Nix looked absolutely terrible in this game. They all looked terrible. There's nothing I can come away from this game and say this looked good. The Broncos looked like what we thought they were going to be for a large part of the year. Like they have a lot of question marks, and they're just not quite there. The Ravens, on the other hand, absolutely just kept on rolling. They showed up. Broncos didn't.
Yeah.
That's really
I mean, for the Broncos, I don't think Bo Nix wasn't good. He wasn't great. I don't think he was terrible though. I think he did decent for a rookie against a good Ravens team. And one other good thing, Cortland Sutton had a good game.
He's been catching on lately. He's been catching on.
Yeah.
I mean, this game started off close. It started off pretty good, and then the Ravens just like put it into overspeed, put it in hyperspeed, and just took off. But it was close to start. The first quarter and a half were pretty competitive.
Yeah, the Ravens just look like a legit Super Bowl contender right now. So Lamar Jackson looks unstoppable. Derrick Henry looks unstoppable. Zay Flowers has caught on lately. He had a huge game. And the defense is solid. So
yeah, and they should be better now that they have Deontay Johnson, who wasn't even really playing in this game. He played like 8 snaps,
yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so going forward, they'll have him and Zay right there in the wide receiver tandem, so they should be even better.
Yeah, and plus they somewhat like their tight ends. It's a very confusing, and they have Bateman too. I mean, he has had a couple decent games.
Yeah.
He's
going to be exactly what people thought he was going to be and just be a deep threat. Now that Deontay Johnson is going to be there, he's not going to be asked to bring on more of a load than he really rightfully deserves.
Yeah.
But
I still don't like Lamar Jackson, though.
He's probably the MVP. He's crushing
He probably will be, dude. He's like, if he gets another MVP, he's probably already got a Hall of Fame case. He's got 2 MVPs. If he gets another one, he's basically a lock for the Hall of Fame, I think, at this point.
I think so, for sure, especially if he gets an MVP and potentially a Super Bowl.
If he gets a Super Bowl, lock him in for a Hall of Fame. If he gets another Hall of Fame or another MVP, I think he's pretty much locked in too. It's crazy to me.
Crazy, bro. Crazy. Anyway, let's move out. Before we move, I did say that was in Denver. It was not in Denver. It was in Baltimore. So I'm an idiot. Anyway, let's move. Buffalo and Miami. This one is in Buffalo. Thought this was going to be pretty close, and it was. The Buffalo Bills took this game, though, 30-27. Took overtime to do it. It was overtime, right? Or was it down to the wire? It was very close till the end.
Yeah, I think it was right at the end
of a few different games. But anyway, Tyler Bass just walked into the club, saw Dolphins, and said, "Hold my beer." 61-yard field goal to win the fucking game. That's more impressive than my ex trying to convince me she's changed. Sure, sure, lady. But I'll need to see some receipts before I make a decision on that. Anyway, Buffalo stays on top while Miami's still looking for a way to float. It was a positive sign for Miami, but ultimately they didn't get the win, and that's really what they need right now because they are sitting in the basement of the AFC East, and they need to move forward. Tua is back. The offense looks healthy and decent, but they're still not getting dubs.
Yeah, it was a very close game. This was also without the Bills' top receiver,
Amari Cooper.
Amari Cooper wasn't in this game, so I feel like that's somewhat telling as well. But yeah, huge win for the Bills and huge loss for the Dolphins. Tua did look really good, I think, in this game. Jalen Waddle was like nowhere to be found. He had a touchdown, but it's been a rough year for Dolphins.
He had 2 targets 2 targets, I think, and they came in like the last minute.
Yeah. He wasn't doing anything for the majority of the season, actually, not even just the game.
And like you wrote it off to like Tua was not there, but now Tua's been back for 2 games. He still is doing nothing. So
yeah,
a little tough there.
I think the Dolphins are ramping up though, as long as they can stick together. They're 2-6, so I say it could fall apart, but as long as they stick together, I think Tua can get this team wins. I just don't know. It might be too little too late at this point.
I don't know if they can sneak in and get a wild card. I mean, there's a few teams that the wild card teams are pretty solid teams. So, I mean, we'll touch on that in our prediction podcast. But
yes, sir.
I don't think, again, like I said, I think it's too little too late for them. Moving on, though, let's go to the Panthers and the Saints. This one, while we thought it was going to be an absolute shit show, was a pretty solid game in North Carolina, in Charlotte. Bryce Young's out here playing like he's got something to prove, and he certainly does. While Derek Carr's looking like he's just trying to prove he can still make it to brunch on time. A 23-2 win. It's like winning a fight with a pillow. Kind of impressive, but still leaves you wondering if you should have just taken a nap instead. The Carolina Panthers got it done. Bryce Young was efficient. He didn't make mistakes. He had a solid game with a limited wide receiver core. I am a Bryce Young hater. I'm still a Bryce Young hater, but he had a solid game. It was against the New Orleans Saints, who arguably are the worst team in the NFL now because they've been absolute dog shit since their 2-0 start on the season, which is crazy.
7 in a row, dude.
They fired their coach.
Dennis Allen,
which finally happened. It was bound to happen. Just took too long. But yeah, Saints are rough. They should just trade everything off. Trade Kamara. He's the only real good thing there. Trade him. Get some assets and recoup.
Well, they can't now. Trade deadline passed.
They already traded Lattimore.
Taysom Hill. They probably could have traded him to the fucking Broncos.
Yeah. Already traded Lattimore. They sent Lattimore to Washington. So Washington's got an elite corner. They're contending in their division in the NFC. So, yeah.
But Olave got hurt too, didn't he, in this game?
He did. He was carted off in this game. Like he took a rough hit from a bad pass by Derek Carr. And Mike Thomas, former wide receiver on the Saints, let Derek Carr have it. He was going fucking crazy on him on Twitter. On X, sorry. He was going crazy on Derek Carr, calling him out, cursing at him on socials. Like, dude was not having it. But yeah, Olave did get carted off for a head injury and had to go to the hospital. He is all good and well.
Well, that's good. Yeah, for this game, I don't have too much, to be honest. I mean, the Panthers, these teams are both dead in the water, you know. Alvin Kamara upset me. He had over 200 yards on the game and
no
did
touchdown.
Not score a touchdown.
You picked him for a touchdown?
I did.
He was in my 3 to score a touchdown, and he didn't fucking score. He killed my bet before it even started, and he had 200 yards.
Yep. He killed mine too.
Ridiculous.
Very upsetting.
Anyway, before we both get pissed off, let's just move. Cincinnati and Vegas. In Cincinnati, Joe Burrow tossed 5 touchdowns like he was handing out Halloween candy in this game. It was just, you can have one, you can have one, you can have one. Whoever wants one can have one. Except the Raiders were the kids who knocked over the bowl and ran off. The Bengals are back in business, while the Raiders are just sad little pumpkins that nobody wants to carve anymore.
Yeah, the Bengals were absolutely insane. Joe Burrow's had a couple of huge games now, and he's got a big game coming up today, actually, now as we're recording. And Mike Gesicki had a big game as well, 2 touchdowns and 100 yards. And
Mike Gesicki, dude, balling out.
He did his trashy little, whatchamacallit, dance in the end zone again.
The little, does he floss? No,
he does the other thing. I don't remember what it's called.
You got to get some kids on there and see what it's called.
Yeah, Tyler would know.
Josh would know. Josh is all up on. Apparently, I found this out this week. Josh is all up on the Gen Z. And what's that? What's the younger one? What's after Gen Z?
I couldn't tell you.
Gen Alpha? No.
Is it? Yeah, I think it is. I think it is Gen Alpha. That sounds Gen right
Alpha,
to me.
Yeah, he's all up on their slang. All up on it. Like I know Skibbity. I know Bet. I know.
I don't think Bet is Gen Alpha.
I don't know. I get confused these days, guy. I don't know.
You're doing it better.
But he was like on it. saying stuff I've never heard before. I'm like, why do you know this?
Speaking of Gen Alpha, Desmond Ritter's basically Gen Alpha, right? He was playing in this game.
Hey, he's a child. I don't know. Let's move from this game.
Well, Desmond Ritter might take over that offense after the bye week. I'm not even sure.
He might. I mean, what are they going to do?
Aiden
Aiden O'Connell's hurt. Gardner Minshew's looked like ass. What are they going to do? Might as well just see what Desmond Ritter has.
Yeah, why not?
Jacoby Myers had a really good game this week. So
I don't know if Antonio Pierce is going to survive his first season with how the Raiders.
I don't know. It's tough. I think it kind of gets into league politics at that point because the Raiders roster's ass.
Yeah.
There's not really much there. They don't have a quarterback. Like, they have decent talent at certain positions, but no quarterback, bad running back. Like, come on.
Speaking of Raiders quarterback, real quick, did you see? I saw somebody post Shea Sanders. Apparently, after every Raiders loss, he's been posting like "God is good" or something like that on socials.
He wants to go to LB.
It seems like he wants to be in Vegas.
Well, he was at the WNBA playoff game for the Vegas Aces, and
he thinks he's going there for sure.
The owner for Vegas was there, and he said, "We'll be seeing you in Vegas real soon."
Dude, lock it up. Make your bets. Make them right now. It's happening.
I mean, I don't think that was the exact verbiage, but he said, "We'll be seeing you there," or like, you're home already, or something like that.
That'll be fun.
Yeah. He's certainly got the vibe for Vegas.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, and then with Antonio Pierce, if he gets another year, maybe in Shea's sophomore year, you have Dion coming out to be coach of the Raiders.
You could see it.
And you could see it.
Theoretically.
Yeah. Let's move though. Let's stop talking about the Raiders. The Chargers and the Brownies. Chargers took this one 27-10 in Cleveland. Jameis Winston's out there playing like he's auditioning for a horror movie. Turnovers popping up like jump scares. The Chargers made the Browns look so bad that even the dog from the dog pound called in sick. This one's going to leave a mark. You thought it was bad with Watson. It looked pretty bad this week as well. I expect better things to come from Winston, but this was rough. This was rough.
Yeah, he looked like vintage Buccaneers Jameis Winston. He has his good games and his bad games, and this was definitely a bad game. He looked worse than, I think, Deshaun Watson, which is unfortunate. And the Browns got smacked around. I think if Jameis Winston keeps playing like this, Kevin Stefanski's job is going to be called into question for sure. It probably is already. They're 2-7.
Yeah.
And Nick Chubb doesn't look healthy still from the injury. They're just in a rough patch. The
only bright spot there for fantasy managers is Cedric Tillman. He's gone off every week. Doesn't matter if it's a good or bad matchup. He's gone off. Looks to be a keeper there. Moving on, though, let's move to the NFC East. Your guys, the New York Giants, took on the Commanders in New York, baby. In New York. They lost this one, 27-22. Jaden Daniels is out here making history like he's auditioning for a superhero movie, while the Giants are just a sad sequel nobody asked for. The Commanders didn't need a miracle, but the Giants sure could have used one. Maybe a magic trick to disappear from the standings. The Giants looked rough here. They look rough a lot of weeks, in my mind. I don't know.
Yeah.
You're the Giants fan. Tell me, what other positives here? What negatives can you take away from this? Tell me.
Positives? I don't know.
Someone's smoking some weed.
Johnson scored a touchdown. That's something. Daniel Jones, actually, this was probably his best game of the year. And to say how this was his probable best game of the year, and at halftime he had 0 yards passing. So, I mean, it's a rough year, that's for sure. The defense looked pretty bad against the Commanders. For
a long stretch, Jones had negative yards passing.
He did. Wan'Dale Robinson, I think the first pass of the game was like a negative 7-yard pass to Wan'Dale Robinson or something like that. And he couldn't get anything going until after halftime from that. He did have a sick run, which was probably the coolest run I've ever seen from Daniels, other than his huge one like his rookie year. He literally truck sticked somebody into the end zone. It was sick. I'm sure you saw that.
I did see that.
Yeah, but yeah, the Giants, I'm actually kind of glad that they lost because, I mean, let's go get Cam Ward, right?
There you go. Yeah, you tanking for Cam.
I would like to tank in a respectable and not getting crushed manner.
You're still trying for every game, but you're just not there to win it. So,
yeah. Because if we get crushed every game, Dayball's probably going to get fired.
I like Dayball's a good coach. I mean, he just is not surrounded by great talent. So,
and on the other side, Jaden Daniels, probably rookie of the year. He looked good again.
He did look good. I think the only person that could potentially come close to him, we already talked about him, Bo Nix, but Jaden Daniels, I think, still has it.
Yeah, I think he's running away with it right now. Bo Nix has had a couple decent games. Jaden Daniels has looked good like all year so far.
Let's move though. You got Tennessee taking on the Patriots in Tennessee. This was a close game of two shitty teams. Kind of similar to the Carolina Saints game there, but the Tennessee Titans took this one late, 20-17. Drake May led the Patriots down the field like he was trying to find a bathroom at a frat party. Lots of urgency, but ultimately it just didn't happen. At the ending, a classic case of you had one job as the Titans finally get to feel like winners again. Cheers to no more crying in your beer.
Yeah, Patriots fans, I mean, you're 2-7, but Drake May does look like he has some very good potential still.
Yeah. That is like a positive note on a lot of the Patriots' losses. Drake May looks solid. Like, I can't definitively say that he's going to be a franchise quarterback, that he's going to be a stud, but he looks like a solid QB.
Yeah, I'd say so. He had 95 yards rushing in this game to lead the team, which I didn't realize until I looked at the stats. That's pretty wild. I didn't realize, dude. Yeah, I do. He was moving around in North Carolina, so I guess I shouldn't be too surprised.
All of the top QBs this year can move. I think the one that was the one with the least mobility is Caleb Williams,
which is kind of funny to think about.
Yeah.
And on the Titans, I mean, yeah, they're trash, but they got the win. I don't know what to say about them.
Got the win. Is Mason Rudolph going to secure the starting job the rest of the year once Will Levis comes back from injury?
No, I think Will Levis will be starting this week. I could see them benching Will Levis though, because
I like Levis. I hope he does well.
They both don't look great, so I don't know.
I hope he does well. Moving on, though, to the desert, you got the Arizona Cardinals taking on the Chicago Bears. Speaking of Caleb Williams, Arizona laid the smackdown on Chicago like it was WWE. Bears looked like they'd rather be somewhere else, anywhere else, really. Amari DeMarcado ran wild while the Bears' offense was stuck in slow lane, like they were driving a minivan in a NASCAR race. Time to hit the reset button. Question mark? No, not really. They're not going to reset on Caleb Williams, but they're just not there this year to win much, apparently. I mean, we thought they were going to be solid. They got a good defense, but the offense just can't get it done.
Yeah, this game kind of confused me because going into this, I mean, I thought Arizona's defense wasn't very good, and they were smoking Caleb Williams like quite often in this game. They had quite a few sacks, and the offense didn't really do all that much. I mean, James Conner looked pretty solid, and DeMarcado had that huge run. And Kyler Murray didn't look bad, but he didn't even throw a touchdown or over 200 yards. They just won. They just won.
Their defense should get better as well. They just traded for Browning, correct? From the Broncos.
Was that a D tackle?
Outside linebacker.
Yeah.
Baron Browning.
Yeah, so that should help them out. They're in the lead in their division right now. We'll see if
which is crazy, which is shocking.
It is.
Yeah. But we said not too long ago, don't sleep on the Cardinals. With the injuries that happened with the Rams, the injuries that happened with the 49ers, you can see the Cardinals make some noise, and they are right now.
Yeah, that division's wide open for sure. So we'll see. That'd be fun if the Cardinals made it, to be honest. I haven't seen them in the playoffs in a while.
That's Larry Fitz, right?
Yeah. Legend Larry.
But let's move to Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. There was not much love for the Jaguars as the Philadelphia Eagles took this one 28-23, which the score is not indicative of how the game went. It should have been an absolute blowout. Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley combined, like they were the dynamic duo of a buddy cop movie, while the Jaguars were just a bunch of extras waiting for their lines. The Eagles made it look easy for the most part, and but it's the missed conversations, the missed conversions that'll have fans questioning whether they're watching football or a blooper reel. That's it. Just a Nick Sirianni blooper reel. because he seems to make a lot of dumb fucking choices.
Yeah.
The
The
Eagles
Jags,
should have won by a lot more of a convincing fashion in this game. They should have put up about 36 points because of Nick Sirianni issues. They did not. And there was a Saquon Barkley fumble that was ruled fumble, even though he was down, that resulted in a return for a touchdown for the Jaguars side. But anyway, Eagles won. Great. Love to see it.
yeah,
On mine.
A.J. Brown went down in this game too. I think he was going to be okay, though, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, there's nothing serious. He's still listed as questionable for this week, but they should be all right with Devonta Smith there. They're playing the Cowboys, who aren't going to have CeeDee Lamb and no Dak. So
Yeah, I mean, they might have scored a couple more touchdowns if A.J. Brown didn't get hurt. The
True.
Jags looked like poop. Trevor
Poop.
Lawrence threw a couple picks. They couldn't get the running game going. Nothing was working for him. I will say,
did you see Saquon Barkley's hurdle?
I was about to bring that up. We got vintage plays from this week with the one we mentioned earlier, Garrett Wilson, and the Saquon Barkley backwards jump juke thing.
That was crazy.
That was nuts. I like the video of the Eagles sideline when he does it. They're all like, "Oh,
They're going crazy, dude." And then Barkley immediately gets drug tested post game.
did he?"
Yeah, immediately got drug tested. Another one in this one, Devonta Smith had a gem of a catch as well. One-handed grab with a defender draped on him and caught the ball by the tip. So it was another great catch.
Another thing on Giants Twitter, being a Giants fan, there were so many people talking about how we're so stupid for trading or for not re-signing Saquon, letting him go to the Eagles. Like, buddy, we knew about this when he left. Like, we know he can do these things. This shouldn't be a surprise to
It's
anybody.
not like he just suddenly found a magic gift in Philly that he didn't have before.
Only
count the offensive line as a magic gift.
Yeah, only stupid Giants fans thought that he was like washed or something. Like, that's insane.
No, not at all. Yeah, great game for me. Love to see it. Let's move. But real quickly, though, you might draw some comparisons to Nick Sirianni to Britney Spears with the shaved head going crazy type situation. And then he kind of has a resurgence post that shaved head situations.
What a reference.
Since he shaved his head, the Eagles haven't lost.
Until this week. No, they'll win this week, too.
Hey, it's the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Who knows? We usually don't play the Cowboys well, regardless of the situation.
Rush, monster game.
He has beat the Eagles before, so
they should just play Trey Lance.
I hope so. They're like 7 picks. Moving on, though, let's go to the NFC North, to what are 2 playoff and Super Bowl hopefuls. The Detroit Lions take on the Green Bay Packers in Green Bay, at Lambeau Field. Detroit took this one, though, 24-14. Detroit is on an absolute roll, looking more like a freight train than a football team, while the Green Bay Packers are starting to look like the old junker in your driveway, just taking up space. The Lions are roaring while the Packers are just faint whisper, and let's be honest, folks, it's looking like a one-sided relationship. The Packers, some positive things for them, but Detroit is just a fucking powerhouse, dude. Like, they're so good. And they didn't even have Jameson Williams this game. The past 2 games, they're getting him back, so they're going to be even better.
Yeah, I mean, the Lions, it was kind of a boring game. The Lions, it was a lot of defense. The Lions defense did really well. The Packers defense held the Lions to low yardage numbers for that team. But yeah, the Lions got the easy win here. And honestly, I think it's time to kind of start talking about Jordan Love's decision making. He's thrown a lot of interceptions over the past 3 weeks since he came back from that injury, and it's leading the Packers into rough situations like this against a team that they should have been able to compete harder with. So he's got to figure his stuff out, because this is a team that wants to make a playoff push. And if he's playing like this, the playoff teams they're gonna beat him. So he's got to do better.
And the Lions should get better as well. They just traded for Zadarius Smith from the Browns, so definitely a good linebacker to add to that group.
Yeah, he's not going to replace Hutchinson, but
yeah, I mean, he won't replace him. But with Aiden Hutchinson going down, he's certainly a good piece to add there. And then next year, if you can pair him with Aiden Hutchinson, watch out.
Yeah,
watch out. Well, let's move. Want to get these over and done with. LA Rams taking on the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle. Matthew Stafford and the Rams pulled off a win and felt more like a Hollywood blockbuster than a football game. Overtime drama, a last-second touchdown in all. Meanwhile, the Seahawks were throwing interceptions like they were going out of style. Sorry, but Seahawks choked. Seahawks choked. You might want to put a do not disturb sign on the door for this one. So,
Yeah, Puka Nacua got thrown out of this game. That really affected. Well, honestly, it didn't affect the offense that much. I thought it would, but Demarcus Robinson stepped up in
two
his
tutties.
place. Yeah, but that was big for the offense because Puka Nacua is a huge part of it.
And
they
he
still
got
the
what, like
win.
a 3-game suspension?
Did he? I didn't see that.
He's
Did he
getting
actually?
he's getting suspended.
My God, for that punch?
Yeah.
Is he seriously?
I don't remember
didn't
how
see that
long,
at
but
all.
I saw he was getting suspended.
Facing major suspension punishment. What? That's crazy. I didn't hear about that.
Suspended indefinitely until the league matter is resolved.
That's crazy. For that little punch, I've seen way worse.
That little punch. It was barely even a punch.
Is it because he took a while to go into the locker room? I don't understand.
I don't know. Certainly seen guys do a lot worse and not get suspended.
Like, maybe give him 1 game, like, at most. Like, that's crazy. This is football, man.
Seems like some collusion there.
That's crazy to me. The Rams need him. I mean, I play DeMarcus Robinson, I guess, then.
I guess.
Yeah. The Seahawks, Geno Smith. I was just talking about Jordan Love. Geno Smith needs to figure his stuff out, too. He's been throwing a lot of picks on his own.
A lot of picks. Yeah, and we said the NFC West is wide open. Both of these teams right there in the thick of things. And it looks like the Rams are built to make a more of a push than the Seahawks right now. And the Seahawks were potentially thinking about trading DK apparently at the deadline, and they didn't, which good for them. He's their best player. But NFC West is wide open. Wide open. Rams can easily strike and surpass the Cardinals.
Yeah. That'll be a fun division to watch in the second half of the season.
Let's move, though. You have the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Indianapolis Colts in Minnesota. The Vikings took this one 21-13, which the final score comes out a lot closer than I thought most people thought, and the game probably even really was. Joe Flacco's got the charm of a wet sock in this one, and the Colts are just floundering like a fish out of water. Sam Darnold looks like he's finally found his groove, while Flacco's out there like, hey, remember me? Sorry, man, but even your own family is changing the channel in this one. So Flacco looked bad. Colts did not look good. They just didn't. Not in any facet of the word. Like, nothing looked good for them. The run game didn't look good. Pass game didn't look good. Defense didn't look good. This honestly should have been a lot worse for them than the 21-13 game it was. Vikings, meanwhile, are still right in the thick of their division. There just happened to be a buzzsaw above them in the Lions.
Yeah, the Colts definitely got completely outplayed in this one. I will say, Sam Darnold threw a couple picks in this one,
He's human.
which isn't ideal for him, but he still did good, 290 yards and 3 touchdowns. And they got the win. So you can forget about the 2 picks, but he's got to be more careful against better teams.
Yeah,
because the team like the Packers is a team with Super Bowl aspirations, but they did get the win. So yeah, I don't got too much. I mean, Justin Jefferson did good. Jordan Anderson scored. TJ Hawkinson's back.
People we thought would do well did well. Hawkinson didn't do bad for his first game back.
Yeah.
He was more involved than I thought he'd be, but he didn't light the world on fire. But let's move. Speaking of picks, this guy leads the league in picks. Patrick Mahomes, Chiefs taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Monday Night Football. The Chiefs took this one 30-24 in what ended up being an overtime game. Patrick Mahomes is like a magician with a trick ankle. He's down for a second and back up like nothing happened. Baker Mayfield trying to keep up in this one, but it's like watching a toddler trying to keep up with Usain Bolt. Overtime drama, please. Just another day in the office for Mahomes and the refs. So
yeah, this game.
Did you see?
Really pissed me off, to be honest.
Did you see the clips? There's clips going around of when they flip the coin and Mahomes calls heads and it's heads and he's like,
I did the same thing. I mean, you already know. They probably had a weighted coin. Like, you already know the Chiefs are going to win it at that point.
You already know.
Baker didn't even get a chance. They got to change the overtime rules. Can we do, like, college rules? I like the
both teams get to go. Both teams get to go. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's annoying. Like, playoff rule, both teams get to go. Just change it. Just change it. Like, and maybe I get they're afraid of, like, injury concerns. Do the college rules where they're basically in the red zone, so you don't have to drive down the whole field and risk a bunch of plays.
Yeah.
Just plays, see if they get in or not, and then the other team gets their chance.
I like it.
Overtime, quick. It'll be fun. It'll be easy. There'll be fireworks, and everyone is happy
I like
except for
it.
the.
I mean, something's got to change because that whole you score and you win bullshit, that sucks. It's stupid.
Stupid.
It's stupid.
Baker doesn't get a chance.
Doesn't get a chance. And he's playing with scraps. Like, he's not playing with Mike Evans in this. He's not playing with Chris Godwin in this for the rest of the season. Yeah, he scored 24 points against one of the league's best defenses.
Yeah. Running game was nowhere to be found.
Nowhere to be found.
It
was like literally just him and K. Dot.
The entire Chiefs team.
It was him and K. Dot, and he's making K. Dot in the best tight end in the fucking league. It's great.
And the Bucs defense didn't do terrible. They got to Mahomes a couple times.
I will say, I think this is more telling of the Chiefs going forward.
Yeah.
Because they let a Tampa Bay team that's put together with Band-Aids score 24 points in regulation.
Mm-hmm.
They face someone like the Lions. That ain't going to cut it. Lions are putting up like 40. That's the same situation. So,
yeah. I mean, you do have to say, though, they're 8-0, and it looks, at least now, that DeAndre Hopkins is going to be a huge factor in this team.
It was huge in this game. Huge in this game. I will say, like, they posted a picture of, I think he posted it maybe, a picture of Patriots and Randy Moss on their undefeated season, and the Chiefs with DeAndre Hopkins. I will say, I won't be pissed if that happens, because when they acquired Randy Moss and they went undefeated during the regular season, they then lost to an NFC East team in the playoffs, in the Super Bowl. So would they go to the Super Bowl and then lose to the Commanders?
The Eagles? Not the Eagles. Come on. Commanders, though?
Well, if it's trending in the same direction, it'd be an NFC East wild card, which at this current point would be the Eagles.
We'll see what happens. We got our predictions coming up.
We got our predictions, yeah.
Kareem Hunt looked good, too. I'll give him that.
Kareem Hunt's been very good. He has multiple 100-yard games. He has not had a bad game since he's become their starter. So
he's looking for a Super Bowl. Does Diop have a Super Bowl ring?
No.
Okay.
He was with the Cardinals and the Texans, so no.
If the Chiefs repeat, then D-Hop and Kareem Hunt get rings. So, I mean, at least there's that. I won't be completely horrified. Just mostly horrified.
Can they do it without Patrick Mahomes? Like, as long as Mahomes doesn't get it, I don't give a shit. Yeah. But, like, he's just so annoying. Yeah, let Carson Wentz get it. Yeah, that's fine. Let Carson Wentz get it. All right. But that is a wrap on our recap for Week 9. I should probably go over our standings really quick, just to gloss over how we went this week. I'll touch on the next because I don't have to pull up. All right, make sure to like, subscribe, and follow. Check us out wherever you get your podcast. Check us out on YouTube. Check us out on Instagram. Yeah, stay classy.
Stay classy, San Diego.